Hello, everyone, and welcome to this amazing workshop. I think it's going to be amazing. It's called Raising Conscious Daughters. And I think for every woman here, whether you have a daughter or not, we were all daughters once, and we are still daughters. And even if you don't have a daughter and you only have sons, this workshop is going to resonate with you and really hit you in some deep places. Maybe you'll feel like, damn, my mom never told me these things, or if only I knew these things, and oh my God, that's why I'm the way I am. Maybe it will hit you on a very personal level. I know that for me, doing this workshop on daughters is very personal, not only because I have a daughter, but because we are daughters. And we have grown up in a culture where, as we know, the patriarchy, not that the patriarchy in itself needs to be bad or negative, but the patriarchy we're living in right now is toxic. And it has created an ownership of us women. And we have been prey to its capitalistic predation. And because we are inherently smaller in stature and inherently physically less powerful, we have had to fall in line. And most of us, especially our generation, have had no outlet. We didn't have social media the way our daughters have it now, where they can understand what is gaslighting and what is narcissism and, what is ghosting. We didn't have that. So we were kind of left in the dark trying to figure it out ourselves. And because of that, we've spent many years, and now we're mothers, in our own internal oppression. And part of raising conscious daughters is stepping out of that internal oppression. It's stepping out of all that messaging that we internalize on how to be good, on how to be skinny, on how to be pretty, on how to be beautiful, on how to be a good wife, a good daughter. All those archetypes that were, you know, introjected by us without our conscious will now show up in our relationship with our daughters. And if we want to break our daughters free, we need to step out of our cages. And this workshop is a way to educate you, it's a way to enlighten you so that you can break out of your own patterns more consciously. And the moment we begin to break out of our patterns, even through just the acknowledgement of them, we help others break free. Now, if your daughter is already an adult, you may wonder, am I too late? Is it too, if bygones are bygones? I cannot fix this. It's never too late because each shift in consciousness changes how we show up in a room. And how we show up in a room may not immediately affect the other person, but over time it does. Now, the other person, especially if they are an adult, may not be willing to absorb our changes. They may resist it because they have lived with us one way for a long time. But that's okay. The point of consciousness is not so much to change the other. It's not so much to insist that because we've changed, the relationship needs to be changed. The point of conscious awakening is so that we live in a different body for ourselves and eventually begin to change the fabric of our lives and our relationships. And whether people accept that or not, whether our children accept that or not, our partners, our parents, is on to them and for them to decide. But it certainly pivots the relationship in the right way. So thank you for sharing that you all have daughters here. If you're sitting at home and watching this, just know that people are sharing about all their daughters. There's some fathers here, and we're going to really get into the psychology of girls, the girl brain, and try to understand how it is that we developed now. And if you're a father, how your wife has developed, how you, if you're in a stereotypical relationship, how your daughter is developing. It's so important to understand the inside workings because when we do, we have compassion, empathy, and the tools for change. Now, when you have a young child, if any of you have children under the age of 18, this is going to be even more valuable to you because the younger the child, the more absorbent is their psychology, right? You can influence them more, which is why conscious parenting is so important because when you hit them young, you can change the trajectory in a more foundational way. But no matter what age your children, I'm telling you, after this workshop, you will have insight because if you're a mother, especially, you will have insight into yourself. Okay? So let's begin. Let's talk about what our girls are currently going through. Now, we have always been raised in a climate of a psychological crisis, in my opinion, as females in a toxic patriarchy. But I think, and every generation thinks, the next generation is worse off than the previous. I know that. But the animal, the beast that is facing our girls today is one that we have not faced until now, which is why we need to be even more cautious, more conscious, more impassioned about how we treat our daughters. In my opinion, the girls today are facing a psychological crisis like never before. There is an urgent call for all of us to rally around our children, boys and girls, but in many ways more so for our girls. And when I did my son's workshop, by the way, I have a son's workshop, you can check it out. I said that we have to rally around our sons. So basically, what I'm saying is that our children are at an urgent precipice of change. And if we don't address the issues that they are encountering in a conscious way as the caregivers in their life, because it's so new, because everything is so viral, because things are inundating their consciousness, because social media is now in their pocket, our influence over them has a tendency to wane. So we have to rise up even more. So today, I believe our girls are experiencing an emotional, physical, and psychological crisis because of social media and because of the great influx of other voices in their lives. Remember when we went to school, we had to deal with the mean girl in the schoolyard, or maybe we were the mean girl. But it was contained. It's not contained anymore. So the issues that we are experiencing with our girls today is something new because now they're being groomed by social media. Now they're learning about sex through algorithms. Now capitalistic media is capturing them through their cell phones. Do you know that there are algorithms that can detect when your child deletes a selfie? And you know, girls, they're always taking selfies, right? Boys are on their video games, girls are taking selfies. And there's a reason for it. I'm going to get into it into this workshop. But the algorithm can detect when a girl keeps deleting a selfie and immediately inundates that account with beauty products to make their appearance better. So we are up against a beast that is so sophisticated. We can't not invite that person to the birthday party. We can't not, go to that school anymore because it's ubiquitous. And our girls are being groomed constantly by the algorithm and this digital culture, which is built on comparison, built on their insecurities, and manipulating their worth based on the appearance that they show up as. And that's why we have filters. That's why we have all this, metamorphosis that you can do to your image. So, what are the current issues facing our girls today? Anxiety and perfectionism is at an epidemic level. There's body image and distortion, of course. Of course, there's body image and distortion. Don't you have it as a grown up looking at Instagram? I have it. I'm like, damn, my body's never going to look like that, right? Little do you realize it's AI filtered, it's manipulated by digitization, and this naturally leads to low self worth and disordered eating. Then there's online grooming and sexual exploitation. I cannot tell you how many parents have come to me to say their 9-year-old has been exposed to porn. Our girls, especially, are prey to this because they are more on social media than a boy. A boy is going into more aggression and violence and dopamine heavy, thrill seeking video games, but our girls are more on the algorithm. And so they're getting this digitized introduction into online sexualization that we don't even know they're getting. A father recently told me how they found their 9-year-old's iPad full of porn and this cute little sweet little girl. So I was like, well, say goodbye to her, like enter the next phase. And then this leads to excessive comparison. And when you have excessive comparison, you automatically have overthinking, over controlling, and a suppression of your emotions because there's too many emotions. So, of course, this leads to a loss of inner self, loss of inner voice, loss of worth, right? These are psychological emergencies that require intervention. And we parents are complicit. Our generation is complicit. So there's a new crisis, right? And the crisis is threefold. It's perfectionism, it's anxiety, and mental distress, right? So there's body image, there's also harm, body harm, and all of these core issues facing our girls today needs to be addressed. And I'm going to try to address each one in this workshop. So let me just read some stats. According to the CDC, teenage girls in the US are reporting the highest level of sadness ever recorded. Sadness, okay? Over 57% say they feel persistently sad or helpless. Just let that sink in. Over 57%. Persistently sad or hopeless. The rates of anxiety, depression, and suicide ideation have surged, right? This is an emotional collapse. Now, you and I grew up, we were fragile, we were anxious, we were hard on ourselves, we had disordered eating, we learned from our friends, oh, you're anorexic, I'll be anorexic. The contagion was limited, but it was deadly and it was extreme. Multiply that by social media. It's contagious. It is a contagion. So let's talk about anxiety and perfectionism first. We all know it. We've all been there, right? We were raised with the same kind of perfectionism that girls are to be perfect and pretty and productive and pleasing all at the same time. And we have grown up being rewarded for how we look and punished for how we feel. We have been conditioned to silence our needs. We have been conditioned. You and I have grown up like that. And we think that our daughters are going to be different. And in many ways, they are a little bit different because they're more exposed. But until we understand that the toxic patriarchy is overwhelming them through digitized media, we will not fully understand the level of exposure that they are experiencing. We experienced a lot, but it was contained. And now it's out of control. So what I always say about our girls is that their body is under attack, right? By age 13, over 50%, over 50% of girls dislike their bodies. By 13, right? So childhood is now truncating. And what you and I experienced at 15, 16, Now by 9, 10, 11, they're already in full speed, full throttle. Eating disorders, suicidal ideation, anxiety disorders. And I know I'm starting out with all the alarm because I'm not doing this to be, alarmist. I'm just doing this to raise the red flags that don't think that your children are immune to this. Even if you don't give them the media, they have friends who are consuming it. And they are too young at 9, 10, 11 to combat this. So girls are taught that their lives are valued by their weight, their waistline, and their beauty. That is the first message, right? I had a mother come to me recently and say, my daughter wants a nose job, but she's only 12 years old. What do I do? And I said, I totally get it. I understand. I understand. The other day we were at lunch, and 3 out of the 4 girls of my daughter's girlfriends already had nose jobs by 22. Everybody has the same nose now. So this is understandable. How do we deal with it? We can't just say no, and we can't just say yes, right? We have to have the ability and this emotional stamina to have great compassion, but also teach our girls to have worth. It is so hard. I have a daughter, so hard to do, right? And I try so hard, and she will still tell me, Mom, I have body issues because of you. And I'm like, okay, I just accept it. I know that it's not me only, but she's flooded with messages from culture. And I'm just an easy target. As much as I try to keep her worth and to tell her how beautiful she is, sometimes it'll sneak in, take care of your weight, or watch what you eat. And because their ears are so attuned to, I'm not good enough, I'm not good enough, this is what begins to happen, that they begin to have this shame. It's tough. So remember that the body is extremely profitable, right? When you attack the body, the beauty industry profits. And the more the girls internalize that they are not good enough, the more the beauty industry will laugh its way to the bank. So we have to be so conscious of this. And as mothers, we have to watch how we look at ourselves in the mirror. How critical are we when we see ourselves in the mirror? How dressed up do we get? All of this is being absorbed by our daughters. And for fathers, right, when he sees a woman who may be larger than the typical size, does he comment? Does he make fun? Right? My daughter's father was very well known to make fun of like larger people. And I used to like elbow him, kick him. And of course he would tell everyone I was elbowing him and kicking him, going, why is she kicking me? It's not funny. It's not funny because our daughters are translating that by how much they weigh, how many compliments they get, how many likes they get. So eating disorders are on the rise. In the CDC's latest Youth Risk Behavior Survey, nearly 1 in 5 high school girls reported fasting, vomiting, or using diet pills in the past month. Nearly 1 in 5. Okay, so imagine a group of 6 girls, one of them has fasted, vomited, or used diet pills in high school. And hospital studies show that adolescent eating disorder admissions have spiked sharply during and after the pandemic. Lifetime risk is highest right after puberty. Anorexia and bulimia typically begin around the ages of 15 and 16, and the sweet spot is around the age of 15 when 75% of the diagnoses appear. So now again, this may sound like so alarming. What can we do about it? Well, first, we have to become knowledgeable. Whenever I'm sitting with a young woman, I notice, does she go to the bathroom? Does she go to the bathroom after her meal? How long is she in the bathroom for? I try to hear. Even with my own daughter, I'm always paying attention to, is there an eating disorder about to happen? And how do you know it? Through calorie counting, through cautiousness, through overweighing yourself constantly. asking for the weighing machine, on the weighing machine, trying to not eat for long periods of time, going to the bathroom after meals. We have to pay attention to these signs. These are not benign signs. And the reason why it happens in girls, besides the beauty industry sending toxic messages, is because girls are so connected to each other. So girls in school begin to talk. One girl says something. Oh, I began vomiting and I didn't put on any weight after I ate a lot of food. And then the next one goes, oh, really? Literally, that is how I learned about bulimia. One of my best friends said, oh, I just vomit. And I thought, oh, wow, how cool. I'll just vomit. So I tried that. And I was around 16, 17 years old. And I did it on and off for a few years till I stopped, till I became comfortable. But even today, I'm honest with you, the thought crosses my mind, oh, I should just vomit it out, right? I just don't because I have an adult self now. But there was a period of time where, because she told me and she told a group of us, it was like a contagion. So you have to watch out for this as a parent. You can't say, oh, I didn't realize. She hid it so well. I'm telling you now, this is a thing, right? Another big thing is watch out for signs of your girl being abused or molested by outside influences, right? I was molested in my childhood. My mother had no clue. She may be watching this now. She'd be like, I didn't know. Right. Her generation didn't know. I dealt with it and I had to grow out of it. And I speak out about this without any shame because there is no shame. These are the facts. Girls are prey. Females are prey. And you may say in the feminist, rigor and protest, no, I'm not prey. I'm a strong woman. You are living in la la land because whether you like it or not, girls and women are prey because we are physically less strong. And I'm talking across the board. Average. Okay, you may be a super Amazonian, but for the most part, right? I traveled the world a lot. There is no way in hell I'm walking the streets of a strange city after 9 o'clock at night, after dusk. There's no way. It's just something internalized in me because we are not safe. So, your girl, this beautiful being that you're raising or have raised unconsciously, carries that same fear. Women are not safe, and for the men in my life, I cannot tell you how much I tell them. And they get it, but they are shocked at how we live. Men don't realize how we live. I tell the men I'm with very often, and I could never walk in this park. I could never be outside. I could never, do this if you weren't here or if you guys were not with me. And they're like, wow, we never even thought about it. We could do whatever we wanted, you know? This is just a fact of life that we have to deal with and understand that our girls are dealing with this as well. So if we don't understand that our girls are just like us, they're not any safer, then we can help them be stronger. Let's talk about something else that I see in my female clients a lot. It is what I call the self-harm contagion. This is what I was alluding to before. Girls are cutting. Okay, now this is extremely serious. Girls are cutting twice as often as boys. It's twice as common in girls than as boys. The reason for this is girls self-harm and boys other harm. Men externalize and girls internalize. So if we don't understand this, we will forever be blind to the signs, right? So if you have a girl who's covering up in the winter, who's wearing long sleeves and jackets, immediately you have to think, what's going on? You have to be prepared for this. Shari says, my daughter is cutting herself. That's why I'm here. Kristen says, my struggles with this. You see, you're not alone. So as a parent, you're going to immediately feel, it's me. I've done something wrong. Ainsley says, my daughter has been picking the back of her arm. She also has fairly severe ADHD. She scabbed her arm so badly and couldn't stop. Oh, let's just take a deep breath there. because that is so emotional. Angelica says, I accept. I've been showing my young girls how I hate my body and how much weight I've gained. Yes, let's just take a pause because this is heavy stuff, because this is how we have all grown up. So you as a parent may feel like you are a failure. Yes? Put it in the chat. How many of you feel like it's your fault? Because we women automatically blame ourselves. I blame myself too. And then when the daughter says it's your fault, you're like, oh my God, kill me, right? But I'm here to tell you, you're not alone. I experience it, you experience it, and many of you experience it. Look, how many of you? Naja says, my daughter spent almost 4 months in a hospital because of the cutting. Of course, I blame myself. Yeah, we are contributors. We are contributors. We are contributors, but we are not necessarily the creator, right? We're not that powerful. We are battling a culture, and we need to have compassion for ourselves while we're battling this culture with our daughters. We're in this together. We're in this together. My daughter will tell me, Mom, you have an unhealthy relationship with food. And I'll go, okay, tell me more. She calls me a peanut mom or almond mom or something because I'm always eating peanuts and almonds and salads. And she's like, you have issues. And she's right, because I grew up in that toxic way, and I'm grateful and glad that she is able to resist that. And I take it, I go, I don't blame you for seeing me like that. I'm trying to be healthy, but you're right. I do have some self-loathing, right? It's okay. It's okay to accept it. It's okay to own that, I grew up like that. What do you want? You live in India, everybody's talking about your form and how you look constantly. And I just own it. And I tell her I'm working on my own self-acceptance. I'm working on my own, self-celebration. Danielle says her daughter called her an almond mom. Kara says, ladies, it's heavy, but we need to focus on healing ourselves. Our children have forgotten how to tune into their intuition. Trezia says, my 12-year-old daughter keeps saying, Mom, stop. You're not fat. You're beautiful. Yeah, in a way, there are some girls who have not given in to this tragedy, and they can help us. But there are many girls who have given in, like we did. So if you have a daughter who's strong and who's able to combat it, hallelujah, that's great. But many of our girls have not been able to combat it. And then they go into the self harm. So let's go back to the self harm contagion. And let me just finish that slide. And let me just read some statistics, okay? Cutting, which is called non-suicidal self-injury. Okay, I didn't know this. I had to research this. NSSI, non-suicidal self-injury, is roughly twice as common in girls as boys. Large US surveys show that by high school, nearly one girl in three has seriously considered suicide, and about one in four has tried self-harm at least once. Okay, now there's a reason for this, and I'm going to get into this more when I get into the biology. But we just have to be aware, and I'm raising the bar on our urgency, because I want us to first be aware that this could happen to the girl that you're raising or your girl's friends that come to your home. So you need to be aware, right? I'm always aware when I'm with my daughter and her friends who's in the bathroom, because I experienced it. I did this. I hid in a bathroom. So I know, right? I was molested. So I know the signs. I've taught my mother, I've taught my aunts. I'm like, be alert and awake. I tell my Mom, I clearly told you I didn't want to go in the car with that man. And you were like, go, go, go. She's like, I didn't even realize. I was, well, thank goodness I'm strong and I'm capable of getting myself out of that quagmire. But many of our girls feel ashamed and they feel scared to come to you. So one of the things you need to do as a mom and a dad is talk about this shit. Talk about it. Say, guys, this is a thing. And you get it from other kids. One girl cuts, other girls cut. One girl is anorexic, other girls are anorexic. there's a trend and it flares. Okay? It flares. And that's why I'm asking you with all my heart to release the guilt. I'm not saying you don't have to be responsible. I'm not saying you don't have to help. But if you're having level 100 guilt, at least bring it down to 20, right? 20 we all have. I can't say be guiltless as a parent. It's just impossible. But understand that you are up against a culture that is toxifying and inundating our girls, and the flood is too much. And the easy answer is, well, keep them off social media till at least they're 16. And that is absolutely what we need to do. I say no screens till teens, but teens can be 13. The later, the better, because they're not capable of handling what they get. That is the easy answer. But the more complex answer is that no matter what you do, they are going to pick this up because they're hanging out with other people. Okay? So if you have a group of friends that your girls hang out with, meet their mothers, give them these stats, tell them to buy this workshop so that everybody together can come up with a plan. So let's talk about the early sexualization of our girls, because they are being groomed and they are being watched constantly by social media. It is a digital sexualization of girls. Now, I'm a feminist. I believe that we women need to be empowered. However, we don't realize that we are playing into our own over sexualization, right? In saying we'll dress up exactly how we want, and then we dress up half naked, we are actually sexualizing ourselves. Then the male attention comes to us, then it's unwanted, then we don't like it, but the males, they can't help it. And of course, that doesn't mean that they're excused, but you're putting the magnet right in front of them. They're going to be drawn to it. And then we actually raise the temperature of sexualization in our culture. And by participating in it, we objectify ourselves more than any man ever could. So, in order to combat this, we need to, in our lives, in our little lives with our daughters at home, truly understand how we've been repressed from our sexuality. What is our relationship to our sexuality? And the more aware we are of our healthy sexuality, right? Can I feel sexy without necessarily showing my entire body? Can I feel beautiful even when I'm bloated and have cellulite? Can I feel good enough even though I may be ordinary, or I have a zit, or I haven't, my eyebrows are falling down, or whatever the latest thing is? You see, the way culture has worked our mind so treacherously is that we women ourselves are buying into it now. Culture doesn't have to do anything. We cannot blame the men. We cannot blame the men for dyeing our hair. We cannot blame the men for our ass sticking out in a bikini. They are loving it, by the way. We cannot blame the men for us wanting to be skinny. Now we have taken the baton and we are running with it. So when a Kris Jenner, for example, at the age of 70, gets an entire neck face lift, as you can see in social media, it's everywhere. And everyone in the chat, because I like to look at the comments to see what culture is saying, everyone in the chat is going, wow, 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 wow. And only few people are going, what the F? You're 70 years old. Now I cannot even be okay at 70. We are perpetuating it, right? We are perpetuating it. And I and you as mothers, and then me as a little bit of a leader, I have to be very conscious of what am I putting out there, right? How dressed up am I getting? How extra do I want to be? How super fabulous do I want to be? And keep it toned, keep it cool, keep it calm, because when we women when we're going to pick up the kids at the school in the freaking morning and we're looking all decked out, it's raised the bar to an unnatural, unhealthy level, which without everyone's consent, we begin to follow. It's not it's not the follower's fault per se, but they have to take accountability. But it is each one of ours responsibility. When I go to a place and I look just like even now, like my hair is just, really dirty. That's why I put it up. I could have gone to the salon yesterday. I could have looked ultra fabulous. I'm doing a workshop today. But when I allow myself to just be, this way, I keep the bar kind of standard. I keep it like regular. And we women need to do that for each other. So it's up to us. What do we post on social media? Do we only post the fabulous vacation and the gorgeous roses and our lovely garden and our salad? What are we posting? We are responsible to create the bar for other women. And I personally, as a female leader, have made very conscious choices about what I post. You will not see me living my fabulous vacations life out on social media. I won't do it because I don't want to create a bar that is unrealistic for people and unhealthy for them to compare themselves to me. I won't post much about my fabulous daughter and me or my fabulous trip on a yacht. Never. Not because I'm so private, but because I believe that in doing that, it creates a comparison culture. So let's go to the comparison trap, okay? So understand that social media, is bombarding us with filtered faces, curated reels, the highlights of people's lives. You and I know what we're seeing is not real. And because it's not real, it disconnects us from what is real in our lives. Because when I wake up in my bloody, boring living room, looking out at no sea, no ocean, no beautiful sky, probably in a overpopulated, overpolluted country, gray skies, I'm going to only feel really shitty about myself. Our children are growing up like this. Listen, we got social media in our 30s and 40s, right? I was in my early 40s when I got social media. Our children are going to get it by 17, 18. So there's a 20-year lead where their psychologies are going to be brainwashed. So what can we do? Again, awareness is the first step. Awareness is the first step. And then we can move further. And I'm going to give you a whole lot of interventions. Don't worry. You may be thinking that, oh my God, she's just raising my anxiety and she's not soothing it. It will come. First, I just want to make you aware that your child is exposed to porn by the age of 11. By the age of 11, every child has been exposed to porn. For us, it used to be 19, 20, unless we were very naughty or had brothers. Girls are being exposed to everything at a younger age. So if you have a sensitive girl, and I've never met an insensitive girl, but there's some girls who are more masculine, and there's some girls who are ultra feminine. Now, when I say girls, it could be a boy who is extra feminine. So don't get caught up in that. But I'm just talking in the main. If you have a female born daughter, you are going to have a sensitive girl. And she is going to be so attuned to how her voice is being silenced. She's going to be so attuned to the silencing of her inner voice. Now, many studies have been done. Carol Gilligan, a very famous psychologist, did a study on what happens to girls at the age of 11 and 12, just before their puberty. And she found consistently that age 11 was a precipitous drop in self-esteem, self-confidence, self-worth. Girls who were active and vociferous and vocal, you had a tomboy, you had a real extrovert, all of that gets suppressed by the age of 11. And 11 is a year of pivot. It's middle school, a period is about to start, the onslaught of puberty. And this research has been consistent that age 11 is when things go down and the girl begins to silence her inner voice, where her sense of bravado, her sense of confidence begins to fade. So you as a parent can remember your own age 11 as a mother and also your child. They will stop raising their hands. They will begin to ask more questions rather than make statements. They will begin to become what other people want them to become. And this is why one of the most important dynamics in your daughter's life will be the one your daughter has with their mother. That's you. And I know we mothers feel like, damn, it's always us. Why is it always us? Why is the mother daughter dynamic the most important? But this is the way it is. The mother daughter dynamic is the most powerful dynamic to both protect your daughter or to expose your daughter to your own baggage, right? Now, why is the mother daughter so, I mean, the mother is just always important. It's because the daughter identifies more with the mother than the father. Because the mother identifies more with the daughter than the father identifies with the daughter. So there is this natural enmeshment in the mother-daughter dynamic. So this dynamic is so powerful to protect her, but also if you haven't done the healing work, then you're going to see it show up. You're going to see it mirrored in the dynamic. So as a mother, when you're aware of it, you can begin to prevent it, right? So for example, when my daughter was born, she has brown eyes. And I knew that culture would always compare her eyes to my eyes. Oh, you didn't get your mother's eyes or some rubbish like that. So from a very young age, I began to buffer that. I began to tell her that you don't need to have colored eyes. And I love your brown eyes. And I wish I had brown eyes. I like my eyes, but I love your eyes. And I just flooded her with that sense of positivity. So as a mother, I knew this about her. As a mother, I'm aware that she is going to be so absorbent of body issues. So what can I do to be more cautious? And let me tell you, every time I've said something wrong to my daughter about her body, she has felt it so deeply. So as a mother, you have to understand you are her role model. And your role model is not going to come out of perfectionism. Your role modeling is not going to be because you're doing everything right. Your role modeling is going to come out of your ability to forgive yourself, your ability to understand yourself, your ability to have compassion for yourself. When she sees how easy you are with yourself, that is what she's going to model. So you don't have to get it right. You don't have to get it right, but you have to be willing to be accepting when you get it wrong, right? So it's not about never getting it wrong. It's about accepting that you are flawed, accepting that you are imperfect. You know, many of us sometimes do one of two mistakes as mothers. We either overdo it by telling them too much about our lives, so we make our daughters our therapists, or we don't show them our inner life at all because we're trying to be super moms. And both of them have its flaws, right? So we have to strike the balance in between, where your daughter is let into your inner life, you can share with her, but she's not your therapist, right? So in order to do that, to hit that right balance of where you are allowing your child into your life, especially your daughter, because she wants to feel a kinship and a connection with you, and where you're not using her as a husband, as a therapist, as a best friend, that requires healing from you. That requires you to do your healing. The best gift you can give your children, I always say this, but especially your daughters, is for you as a mother to empower yourself to accept every single flaw of yours. If you are a mother who cannot stop dieting. It's more important that you tell your daughter, I am so caught up in this diet culture, I don't know how to get out of it, versus pretending you are not caught up in the diet culture. It is much better for you as a mother to own, you know what? I keep enabling your father. I keep allowing him to abuse me. I keep allowing people to walk all over me, as opposed to not being aware that you're doing this. It's okay to be a limited human being. It's okay to be totally effed up as well. You can be addicted to a drug, even. I mean, no, that's not ideal. But what I'm trying to say, the point is not that we have to not be these things. The point is that we have to be aware and let our daughters know we are a work in progress and we are working on it. As they grow older, 11, 12, 13, the more you can take accountability for your bullshit, the more you will free your daughter, because she's seeing it anyway. She's understanding the dynamics anyway. But when we act as if we are not defensive, we're not an enabler, we don't have self-loathing, we don't have body issues, we don't have any issues, that is the most dangerous kind of mother you can be. The best example is always just of a radical self-acceptance. That's what your daughters want to see. And even if you fuck it up, and even if you mess it up, you say, yes, I did. I'm learning. I've never done this. I'm trying. That's what your daughter needs to see. Not an iron curtain, iron lady, super strong. Actually, if you're super strong, that's really scary. A super, super, super strong mom is like a super strong dad without any ownership of vulnerability or accountability of imperfections is a dangerous person. Now, let me talk about mothers and daughters competing with each other. Let's talk about mother-daughter competition. As a mother, you have to be very aware if you are competing with your daughter and how, and if your daughter is competing with you. Now, many of you will say, what? I'll never compete with my daughter. Yes, you will. I'll tell you how. When your daughter tells you, Mom, I don't like what you're wearing. Mom, why did you say that? Mom, let's go here, not there. Mom, you always do this, right? You know how our daughters talk. If your immediate reaction is defensiveness, you are in competition. And it sounds like I'm just explaining myself. I'm not defensive, but that's not true. Because when you retaliate with a reaction that doesn't take your daughter's comment in, it means you are in your masculine energy and you feel threatened. Otherwise, you would not be defensive. So when your daughter tells you, Mom, what are you wearing? Mom, why did you say this? Mom, mom. It's really hard because they are very articulate and they can come at you like a spear. Many of you can watch my interview with my daughter, which I did for my podcast. You can just type in Dr. Shefali and daughter. It'll show up, where she was like throwing daggers at me. Yeah. It was really hard to hear, even though I invited her to throw daggers at me. Who I would have wanted her to say, Mom, I have no daggers. There's nothing. You're perfect. But my goodness, she had like a whole arsenal of daggers. Like she was throwing it constantly. She didn't hold back. And I had to just sit there and take it in and understand what her point of view was, what her POV was. And until I could do that, I would be in resistance and in competition. Now, our daughters are allowed to resist us, and they may also feel competitive. But that's because we are probably creating insecurity in them. As a mother, the most powerful thing you can do for your daughter is let her give you feedback. Let her speak up, which means you have to open it up. You have to ask the questions. You have to say, tell me what you think about my outfit. Tell me what you think about what I said at the party. Tell me what you think. Now, why am I saying this? It sounds like such a silly thing, such a normal thing. You have to use it as an intervention because you have to realize that your daughter is being raised in a culture that silences her inner voice. Therefore, you have to do the extra to invite the inner voice. You have to do it to allow it. Now, somebody asked, what if they try to prove you wrong in front of others? That is her using her voice. That is a good thing. And sometimes these girls, I mean, let me tell you, I have a daughter. You can see the YouTube video. Please go watch it. She is acerbic. Okay, she's caustic. She is brutal. There's no fluffy cuteness, maybe sometimes. No, no, no. She's like all the time, always, you forever, right? She's extreme in her talking, but that is her way of using her voice. So if we mothers are fragile, if we mothers are fragile, we will not be able to take feedback. And Diana gives a good point. Doesn't that teach her to ask for others' opinion all the time? Yeah. So you can't do it in an insecure way. You do it in a sisterhood, like you would with your girlfriends. You allow her because you're thinking not about yourself. You're thinking, how do I get her to practice using her voice in a culture that silences her? This needs to be a motto. How do I get my daughter to use her voice? So whether your daughter is 3 years old, 17 years old, 37 years old, please take it as a given that her voice has been silenced. And you need to be the safe place where she can practice. So at the age of 3 and the age of 7, you ask her, do you want to go to McDowell Park or do you want to go to Robinson Park? Do you want to eat scrambled eggs or do you want to eat fried eggs? Do you want the blue pants or the yellow pants? Should I water these first or should I water that first? You're inviting her to be your collaborator. You're inviting her to be your co-partner. Of course, you are the leader. You are the authority in the house. But you're inviting her in to give her opinion. You know, every single time I have done that with my daughter. What do you think about my website? And even though I don't like her opinions all the time, I go, wow, yeah, that's a good point. That's really, that's interesting. That's all I have to do. And she'd be like, see, you can hire me. I'm like, oh my goodness, if I hired you, you'd be the boss. I'd be working for you. Or the other day she told me, Mom, you know, you're looking too glamorous. Come down. Don't look like that. People won't relate to you. And I was like, you're right. You're right. Right? So you begin to collaborate with her. Why? Not because you're weak, not because you're insecure, but because you're giving her a voice. Okay? So I think I've made that point. Mother-daughter dynamic, super important. Your own cage will become her cage. If you haven't freed yourself from your cage, she will stay in the cage too. She will mirror your issues whether you like it or not. Okay? So, for example, my daughter was super, 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 super skinny. And I thought, wow, I have no issues. I have no body issues. I have nothing. Look, I'm such a healthy mom, right? She went to college. She put on weight. She has not lost the weight. I have issues. I have issues. I'm like, damn it. I thought I had healed my issues. I have major issues. She has less issues than I have, but I'm working through it. I'm trying to heal myself. I'm trying to realize these are my issues. So this enmeshment, you see, between mother and daughter can quickly translate into the daughter's psychology, and she can begin to live in your shadow that you haven't healed, right? So it's much easier to tell her or tell your daughter, listen, I have body fat issues. I have body shaming issues. I was body shamed. I'm probably going to body shame you. So please tell me to please, right? This is the power of consciousness. You give the other person the baton to take their own lead, to not feel like you are right, for them to speak up against you so they know their own inner authority. When you don't see your daughter, for example, say you don't see her very often, then the times you do see her, you have to come clean. You have to come prepared. You have to be ready to show up in a state of self-acceptance and self-celebration. How many of you had mothers that were critical? Put that in the chat. How many of you had mothers who would find something to fix, whether it's your picture frames, whether it's your husband, whether it's your hair, whatever? And did you like it? Did you appreciate it? Or did you feel like, oh, mom, stop? Because she was trying to fix you to become an image of what she thinks is perfect, right? I know exactly what makes my mother happy. When I dress up in certain ways, she's like, oh, that's my daughter. And when I dress up in a way that she doesn't like, I will hear it. She's like, yesterday you wore something really nice. Wear that again. She'll try to say it in a sneaky way. I go, Mom, I know you don't like what I'm wearing, but it's my opinion, right? So none of us like that. So we have to be hyper vigilant about doing it with our girlfriends, with our own mothers, and with our daughters, because women are primed for this kind of negative commenting. And I'll tell you why. Okay, let's move on. Let's go to the role of fathers. What can fathers do? Who can tell me? Maybe it's in the slide. What is the most important thing a father can do? It's not in the slide. What is the most important thing a father can do for their son and for their daughter? The most important thing. Listen, treat her with respect, praise the daughters, love the mother, love their mom, be vulnerable. Well, the answer is how they treat the mother. The most protective thing you can do for your sons and your daughters is how you treat the mother. That's it. And it doesn't mean you have to be a pushover. It doesn't, actually, you shouldn't be a pushover, because that will give her the sense that men are weak. But a healthy respect, meaning you honor the mother as a human being, not a role. Many men have been conditioned to treat their wives as if it's a role, as if they are the employee of the husband, as if motherhood is a role, as if it's something they should serve. And because they think it's a role, they think, we should just fill it. Now, is it a role? Yes, it's a role. But we as women cannot be seen for being a role or a function. And the greatest thing a man can do for his daughters is to see their mother as a flawed, imperfect, limited, ordinary human being, and celebrate that. Unconditional acceptance of the mother as a human being, not as a performance, not as a function, not as a role, is the best thing a father can do for his daughters. Okay, so moving along, let's talk about why on earth are our girls like this. There is a reason you and I are super empathic, super sensitive, super connected, super aware, right? And super vigilant to cues on the outside. There is a reason. It's a biochemical reason. And the reason is in how our brain develops. Estrogen creates emotional reactivity. Progesterone, when our progesterone crashes, and it does with every hormonal cycle, it contributes to our mood swings. And the prefrontal cortex in boys and girls, but girls are ahead of the curve, so we have this earlier than boys, is experiencing a burst between 11 and 14, which is why at 11, confidence dips, self-esteem dips, cutting starts, self-harm, dieting, all of it starts between 11 and 14. If you're lucky, it goes a little later. This is a window of extreme fragility in our girls. So let's talk about how our girls are hardwired, okay? We are hardwired. The female brain is hardwired for social contact, the good and the bad of it, okay? So let's talk about really what's going on in the brain. From the very start of life, females arrive with a brain that is different than the male brain. Now, I'm all for gender fluidity. But there is a fact that a girl, a female, right, that's the more technical term, arrives with a brain that is different. And it is a brain that leans towards other people. So they have done studies that even in the womb, a 34-week female fetus, just 34 weeks, that female fetus is more likely to turn their head toward a pattern of 3 dots, which look like a face, right? Suggesting that the female visual system is highly attuned for social shapes. Within a day after birth, most baby girls gaze longer at a caregiver's face than a spinning mobile, while most boys show the opposite preference. Neuroimaging explains the difference. So if you're a science geek, maybe you like this part. The lower prenatal testosterone leaves a default wiring, and this default wiring creates greater connectivity. The males don't have this. Males have a higher prenatal testosterone, and that higher prenatal testosterone kills this social connectivity. The lower testosterone keeps this going. Evolutionary biologists argue that in a species that relied on cooperative caregiving, females who could rapidly read emotion were more able to survive. So natural selection favored brains that locked on eyes, voices, touch from the get-go. So let's talk about the female brain a little bit more, because there are two hormones that are key in this duet. So let's go deeper into the female brain and talk about how the female brain, your brain and my brain, is wired for connection. We may wonder, why are we so sensitive? I'm sure you've had a man in your life tell you, why are you so sensitive? Why do you cry all the time? I'm sure you've been pissed off at yourself, that you're bloody trying to be angry, and within a minute you start crying. Have any of you experienced this? You're like, what is wrong with me? Why can't I just be angry? Why do I start crying? It's not your fault. Our brain is inundated with estrogen. Estrogen boosts oxytocin. Oxytocin is wired for bonding. So we are more in our hearts, you could say, than in our logical brain. And many men will get very exasperated with us because they'll be like, oh, okay, you're crying, so I better stop thinking, right? Because they're trying to logically analyze us, and there's no logic. I mean, there is sense and there's meaning, but you can't logically analyze a female when she's crying, right? That is the worst thing men do. But men can't help it, because when they see crying, they feel helpless. When they feel helpless, they enter their power. When they enter their power, they want to fix and create a solution. The female, when she enters her heart, she wants to be held. She's in oxytocin. She's just feeling. She wants to be bonded. She wants to be connected. She just wants someone to hug her. And the foolish man is talking to her. Similarly, when a baby cries, the brain is more female in the first few months of development than it is male. What that means is it is more right hemisphere dominant than left hemisphere dominant. So children too, actually all the way till age 3 or 4, they don't need logic to connect with them. They need hugging, physical touch, bonding, stroking, soothing, non-verbal cues to calm them down. The other day, I was at a restaurant and there was a mother talking to her infant next door, and the infant was crying. And the mother must be a new age mother, thinking she's a conscious parent, because this is what she was saying. Tell me what's wrong. I can hear you. I understand you. Tell me what's wrong. And the kid was like totally tuning her out. And I was like, oh my God, she thinks she's doing the right thing, but she's completely performing the connection. She's not truly connected. So, in order to connect with children, if you have a young girl and she's crying, the worst thing you can do, and even with your girlfriends, and this is for every man out there, the worst thing you can do to your wife or your partner who is female is begin asking questions or talking too much. Children, especially females, need bonding, soothing, calming through your body, through your non-verbal touch, through your non-verbal presence. So, in order to do that, you need to be in your body. And that's what I teach mothers. I go, enter your body, count to 10, put your hand on your chest, breathe. When your daughter is dysregulated, she needs you to be the container. Your son also needs you to be the container, but your son will act it out. Your son will need running and playing, and he'll be easier to distract than your daughter. Your daughter needs your soothing, safe presence. And the reason for that is because of the hormonal duet of estrogen and oxytocin. It is a double-edged sword. So this duet of the hormones of estrogen and oxytocin, this is it. This is what makes the female different than the male. And anybody getting into a marriage with a male or a male getting into a marriage with a female, if you don't understand this duet of oxytocin and estrogen, you and your partner will constantly collide. How many of you have experienced this with your male partners? They think you're overly irrational. They think you're overly illogical. They think like, oh my God, we were having such a good day. Where did this come from? Unpredictable. Or are you on your period? Right? This is because our brain is constantly wired for connection and belonging. And we need to feel safe. We need to feel liked. We need to feel belonging and acceptance. This is how our wiring is. The more we feel connected and fused and together, the more we thrive. And because we now live in a nuclear family system, and because we don't live with our other sisters and our aunties and our mothers, and we have chosen because of the patriarchy to live with a man who, for the most part, is highly disconnected. Poor guy is in his own trauma of living in this world, with one woman. He's also going through a lot in his brain that though he doesn't know how to articulate it. The two of you are now trapped, each of you asking to meet each other's needs. He has high sexual needs, he has high physical needs, you have high emotional needs. You're like, give me what I want, then I'll give you what you want. He's like, give me what I want, then I'll give you what you want. And then the two never meet. We women needed to live with our sisters so we could give it to each other. And the studies that women who live together, they start cycling together, their hormones begin to get into tune. That's how powerful hormones are. Don't underestimate. Don't think you can override. The man is not incorrect in saying, is it your period? We don't like it when they say that because we are like, this is real. I've been feeling this for 22 years. This is real. But it comes out during the period, doesn't it? It comes out during the period because our progesterone is crashing, our estrogen is all over the place. We have mood swings. It's not entirely incorrect when a man says, I need to go on vacation during those days of the month. He would be wise to do that. Poor guy is also sitting with us, and for us, we're sitting with him. We should be with our women, where we're bonded, where we can be together with each other. So you have to understand the hormonal duet of estrogen and oxytocin, which we are bathed in, which men are not bathed in, which is why we are better with children. We are better with young children because we know how to coo and we know how to kaa and we know how to be silent and we know how to rock and we know how to soothe. Men don't know that. They're like, I don't know what to do because they're so verbal, they're so logical, they're so doing. Because in the hunter-gatherer tribes that we were for thousands, hundreds of thousands of years, men were wired to protect and to actually cut out the noise, like because the noise is dangerous. So they hear a child's crying as, oh my God, what is that noise? Right? Women hear the child's crying and we go, oh, right, poor baby. Right? Men want to like shoot themselves because they're like, this is the worst thing that can happen. I'm trying to kill this lion right now. This freaking baby is crying. So they don't get it. They're wired differently. They're not supposed to get it. And we keep blaming them why they're so insensitive and clueless because they weren't supposed to do all this work. Now we're training them to become more feminine and they're trying, but it's not easy for them. Their brain just doesn't work like that. So this duet of estrogen and oxytocin makes the adolescent female brain a finely tuned social radar. That is why you and I will leave a party and we'll start talking in the car. Oh my God, did you see when I told Meredith that I wasn't going to come for her party because I'm traveling? Did you see the look she gave me? And your friend will be like, oh my God. And even Bianca, she gave me a look too. I was like, why is she being so rude? I don't know. I don't understand. Why are they always like this? And your husbands will be sitting in the car going, were we at the same party? They are not picking up on these cues at all because that is not what they're supposed to do. They were wired to pick up the cues of the rustling in the bush, the stomping of the paws of the beast. Give them a spear, send them out into the wild. That's what they're good for. I'm sorry to talk in such stereotypical ways, and of course, men are becoming so enlightened and so lovely and amazing, but it's really not their nature. They're learning, and thank goodness we're teaching them. But sometimes we're teaching them to the point that we're taking them out of their masculine energy, which is what I covered in my son's workshop. Okay, so when you understand this about your daughter, you will understand how sensitive she is. She's sensitive and attuned and caring, and she may be a better nurse for you when you're older. But God damn it, when she's a teenager and a young woman, she's going to drive you crazy because she's going to say, like, oh my goodness, I only got 2 likes on my Instagram, and my friend Jane got 3 likes, and oh, the boy didn't call me back or he didn't text me back because her radar is constantly for connection. You and I know that when we leave a stage, we're thinking, did everyone like us? Did I upset anybody? Right? That's what I'm thinking. Oh my God, who did I piss off? Right? I'm attuned to the social radar, the social mileage. A man leaves the stage and goes, damn it, I didn't make that sale good enough. Damn it, I didn't make any profit today. They are tuned to numbers and money and concrete, quantifiable things. We are tuned to unquantifiable things. So now you have a teenage girl. And teenagehood is from 11 to 28, okay? My daughter is still a teenager. She's 22 and absolutely hormonal every day, okay? Now, as a mother, and we are probably perimenopausing or menopausing, and your daughter is going through her teenagehood, there is catastrophe in the house. It is catastrophic. The man is like, where have I come? This is not safe for me anymore. And he's right, right? It's too much estrogen in the air, in the water. So the teen storm is a real thing. Your daughter will experience it from 11 to 28, just like perimenopause is a real thing. So read this. It says estrogen turns up the volume on emotional cues. So estrogen, which is higher during our puberty years, has now made us more in touch with our social radar. We're like totally flooded with social cues. This is why middle school is very hard for most girls. This is why cutting, self-harm, all of it starts in middle school because there's a biochemical aspect to it. It basically says that the prefrontal cortex is still being wired. It's still not ready. The preemptive thinking, the rational thinking is still not very dominant in the female brain, especially. And her mood swings are her biology. So as a mother, if you are attuned with that, you will just know. I used to tell myself, that's it. The aliens have come. They've taken my daughter. I'll see her at 28. My daughter still hasn't come back. She's 22. I'm seeing a little bit of glimpses because I think the aliens are fed up of her. So they're sending her back. I see her come in, dipping out like she's being sent back. And I'll be like, whoa, you're coming back. And I'll see glimpses of her. But then again, the aliens will abduct her. And so when she goes into one of her torrents, I hope she never sees this workshop, then I just go, okay, they've come. The mothership came, took her away. And I'm so easy through it because I know this is her biology. This has nothing to do with me. So imagine how many fights you could avoid with your daughter if you just adopt this philosophy with your teen girls and boys, but more with your teen girls. because the rage. How many of you have had a teenage girl have rage? Okay, like catastrophic volatility, like her leg has been chopped off or the roof has come down. Massive rage. Tell me on 1 to 10 how much rage. Okay, and tell me if it's not over 10, where you're like, oh my God, angry, lazy, 10 on 10. Yes, the worst combo, right? And then very sensitive, then hypersensitive, but then a total moody biatch, like, oh my God. You're like, oh, why didn't I have a son? Why didn't I have a son? Why didn't I have more sons? Right? This is just how it is. But can I tell you, if you were allowed and you were safe in your teenagehood, you would be the same. See, I was the same. I was a nightmare for my mother. So because I know I was a nightmare, I have a lot of leeway for my daughter. You just have to understand she is overwhelmed by her own biology, which is a radar for social connection, coupled with social freaking media. Now she's fried. Because every like, every comment, every text, right? I've had girls come to me say, "Oh, I'm so sad because the boy put two exclamation marks, not one." Like some bullshit like that. They are reading into things, the emoji, what kind of emoji? They are so highly attuned to social cues that on social media it's become exponential. This is why our girls are in an urgent crisis. Okay, like I cannot say it more often than I am. This is not a joke. The poor woman, the poor girl, the woman who she's going to become, her brain is wired to go, am I liked? Am I approved? Do I belong? So now she's being rated and gauged, tested by thousands of strangers. This is why anxiety, depression, suicidality in our girls is at an all-time high, because we have put that beautiful brain into this atmosphere. Okay, so what can we do about it? Kathy, see my next slide. I knew that you will be antsy and go, okay, what can we do about it? What can we do about it? Okay, there's a lot you can do about it, but also there's a surrender that needs to happen. Surrender as in, no matter what I do, I may still have a girl who cuts. No matter what I do, I may still have a girl who's suicidal. I have coached parents whose daughters are suicidal. The shame and guilt that they feel is so heavy. It is not their fault only. Okay? We are battling something of an epidemic proportion in culture. Okay, so what can we do about it? Let's talk about it. So I've created a bare bones of a conscious parenting toolkit. Now, the most important thing for girls, because of their brain, is your relationship with them. What does that mean? Time, presence, attention, validation. Find things to validate her. That lazy girl that somebody talked about in the chat, go sit with her on the couch with her. Snuggle in with her. Be lazy with her. Through the laziness, connect. Make the laziness a ritual. Between 3 and 5 o'clock every evening, you have lazy time. Join her in a bonding. Send her a picture of where you are. That's her language, especially the teen girl today. She wants pictures. She wants connection. 5 times during the day, send her a heart emoji. I'm thinking of you. Why? Because that's what lights up her dopamine. Okay? A boy, send him a nude picture, that's what light up his dopamine. Or tell him he won a game of, a car race, or put him in a speedy car, that's what lights up his dopamine because he has testosterone. But what lights up ours is what fires up our estrogen. So validation, not criticism. Connection, not correction. Because they're hypersensitive to criticism, be careful what comes out of your mouth. You have to create anti-fragility through high connection, high guidance, not control. So anti-fragility, let's talk about that for a second, because many people mistake what is anti-fragility. How do we create anti-fragility, right? Because we think that if we give, direct feedback to our girls, if we tell them what they're doing wrong and that they should just cope with it, that will create anti-fragility. But it doesn't. It creates a crippling sense of low self-worth. So in order to create anti-fragility in our girls, we need to be highly attuned. The 3 A's I talk about: high attunement, high autonomy, and high authenticity. So let's talk about these 3 things. Extremely important to bond with our girls in a way that they can accept. So remember this: your daughter is a social being first, meaning when she's with you and doing homework, you think you're doing homework. She is relating to how you talk about her. She is taking in how you see her. She's taking in how you're having fun with her. If she looks at you and she sees criticism, if she looks at you and she sees that you're displeased by her, the way she will internalize that as self-loathing is 100 times more than a boy will. Because a boy's radar is not there. So you could tell your boy, oh my goodness, you put on so much weight. What's going on with you? Can you please go to the gym? And the boy will be like, I know, I've become really fat. Try telling that to a girl. She will be broken. So you're thinking, but if I don't tell her, she'll be too fragile. So I should tell her. No. The thing is that she already knows. Girls already know because their radar is already attuned. So your job to create anti-fragility is to create connection. Oh, and somebody said that they said it to the brother and he was hurt. Yes, men can get hurt too, of course, but I'm talking about the proportion, right? Of course, no one likes to be told that they're whatever, their breath stinks or their hair is falling or whatever. But the extent to which a boy gets hurt versus a girl gets hurt is just spades. Okay, the difference is just astronomical. So when you are doing homework with your girl, when you're getting ready with your girl, when you're taking your girl for shopping and she's trying on the outfit, I made this mistake once. I said the worst thing. Okay, I'll tell you what I said. I couldn't believe I said it. It came out of my mouth before I couldn't even hold the words back. She was trying on these dresses, and to my defense, she was very skinny before, so I'm having a hard time like adjusting. Okay, that's a poor defense, I know. Anyway, she was trying on these dresses, so cute, so cute, so cute. All were too tight. Okay, so I said, oh, you would look amazing. These would look amazing. All you need to do, all you need to do is like lose 20 pounds. Okay, it just came out. And the reason it came out is because I had been thinking it and it had been bothering me. And I had not made peace with these 20 pounds that she has put on. And she was so devastated. And she saw it as a betrayal. And she was like, you. She made it all about the relationship, not about the weight. Not about the fact that, yes, it's true. You could wear all those cute dresses if you were 20. She made it about, how could you say that to me? How could you be so mean to me? And we're the same. We're the same with the men in our lives, right? We'll be crying and then they'll say something stupid and we'll focus on, how could you say that when I'm crying? And we don't focus on the content, we focus on the tone, we focus on the flavor, we focus on the, where is the focus? We don't focus on the content. We focus on the feeling underneath. And this is where we go wrong. So we need to remember that the female child is always feeling us. They're not thinking us, they're feeling us. They're social beings first. They're sensitive beings. They thrive on validation, not criticism. You validate your daughter, you validate your girlfriend, you will see her blossom. If you get validated, you will become a goddess. We have grown up in a world with such little validation for who we are. We're always told we have to be that. We are invisible. So we're craving this validation. And the third thing our girls are is that they are connected. So they thrive on connection, not correction. So even if you want to correct them, you have to first connect with them. Like, oh my goodness, you look like you're having such a good time being lazy. I want to come and be lazy with you. So you connect with her laziness. You connect with it. You don't correct it. You don't go direct, you go indirect. And that takes so much effort. But if you understand how her brain is wired, you will get it right at least 80% of the time, right? And men need to learn this. Don't go like this to your daughter because it lowers her self-esteem. You have to go behind. Oh my goodness, I'd love to be I'd love to be lazy with you. No, I love being lazy. And you get into the bed and you be lazy and you connect with her. And then you say, okay, can we stop being lazy now? Come on, let's go. It's through the connection, right? Versus the linear hierarchical controlling way, which is you're lazy, go fix yourself. The girl will absolutely swallow herself in self pity, in self degradation, in self loathing. So, how can we parents, we have to think, how can we let this sensitivity blossom instead of weaponizing them for their sensitivity? You see, we women have been weaponized for our sensitivity because toxic patriarchy knows that we are so sensitive. They have capitalized on us and made money off us, our insecurities, because they know that we want to be beautiful and we want to be validated for how we appear because we want to be liked. They have created the whole anti-aging movement, which now we are the followers of, and they have weaponized us and they have made us the most fragile now, because even at our old age where we're supposed to relax into our bodies and ease into self-acceptance, now we are being told that that is not good enough, all because the cosmetic industry wants to make money. You see, it is a war against us. But we as parents need to think, I cannot yell at my daughter because she's having a rage at 15 because she's bathed in hormones. I cannot yell at my daughter because she's devastated that her boyfriend hearted another girl's picture. I cannot poo poo her because for her, she is so attuned to these mini micro rejections that for her, it's a big deal. And I've had to explain this to so many fathers. Listen, for you, it's nothing, and you're rolling your eyes. I mean, even I roll my eyes in private. But for her, for her, for her, for her. So bonding with your daughter looks very different than bonding with a son. Bonding with a daughter is face-to-face contact, a lot of emotional labeling, a lot of touch, respectful touch, but it's a lot of physical, because the oxytocin system that she has gets so flooded, her nervous system gets so flooded, you have this too, that you don't feel safe anymore. So naming the feelings, calming their surges in hormones, all through touch, by you being grounded in the body, is the best kind of modeling you can do. So telling her, don't be so dramatic. Telling her, oh, you're just overreacting. Telling her that, oh, she's just making a big deal out of something, is actually weaponizing her sensitivity. You see? You have to accept. And you may think you may be a more masculine mother or more evolved mother, and you may think, what the freaking hell? She's upset every freaking day. Every day she's complaining. She's complaining about the passenger next to her. She's complaining about the way the plumber walked in. My daughter complained that the plumber walked into her house and didn't take out his shoes. I'm like, let me chop his feet off. They complain about everything, but the complaining, if we take it as complaining, we are going to resist it. If we take it as very hypersensitive, very aware, very attuned, it's a pain in the ass, but that's what it is. And we women are the same for the men in our lives. They're like, are you seriously going to put incense because I just farted a little bit? Like, do we really need to be so reactive? And we're like, yes, we do. We need to sage the whole house, right? We're too much. We like our sheets and we like our potpourri and we like our bubble bath. Men don't give a shit. They don't. They couldn't. So being physical is so important. Trizia writes, my mother was zero physical with me. My daughter looks for physical contact with me and I don't feel comfortable. Oh, that is so important. That is so important. Patricia says, my daughters don't like to be touched by me. I see them hug their friends. So the thing with girls is that if you hug them outside, like my daughter will tell me, don't hold my hand outside. I don't like to be kuchiku outside. But the minute she's with me privately, she's like glue on me. And I'm like, can't you show my friends how much you love me outside? And because I just want to be a performer. And she's like, no, it's private, it's between us. What I would encourage you to do if you are uncomfortable with physical touch is practice. Even if she says, I don't want it. So sometimes my daughter will be like, don't touch me, you upset me, you no, 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 no. And I go, okay, 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 okay. I want to touch you. Mommy needs your touch. I need it. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I need it. Sorry, I need it. Just like when you touch your dog, you don't ask your dog the permission. I'm not asking my little poodle any permission. And I just go get the hugs and I melt her. And after a few minutes, I'm telling you, like Putty, like us women, we can be the most rageful, hateful, spiteful, bitching, foaming, spitting. And then if somebody hugs us, we'll fight. How much do we fight? After 3 or 4 minutes, our nervous system gets regulated. And I tell men this: suffer the first few, where she's going against you and she's going, no, you're not sorry. You're never sorry. I'm never going to touch you. I'm never going to lie. I'm never going to, right? Let her get it out. So many times I'm with a couple and the man will give up. I tried, I touched, I said sorry, I did. I go, if you do it like a mechanic, it's not going to work. She's not a machine. You know, she will first need to pay you back through her words because we are verbal. You said something stupid, she's going to kill you now with her words. These are our daughters. Words, words. Men will not kill a woman with words as much as a woman will kill a man with words, right? That phrase, hell hath no fury like a woman scorned, right? If you get that woman in court, she will cut you, right? She will talk about your penis and your mother and your burping, and she will tell the judge she won't give a shit, right? Because her verbal arsenal is that's the only way she knows is emotional, which is really dangerous because she can be a real freakazoid too. She can be like really off the. I mean, there is a part of us, as much as we women like to say we're amazing, we're that, doo doo tee, if the emotions are not harnessed and given some safety and boundaries, we can go off the ledge too. I mean, and we have to own that about us. Men are off the ledge, we're quick to say it. Oh, he's crazy, he's angry, he's rageful. But I, myself, and I've seen women, we can lose our shit for no reason. Okay? We know some of the main reasons. A man looks at another woman, he gave another woman a compliment, he gave her the food before he gave you the food, he offered her Diet Coke, didn't offer you. But we have to own our shadow, our rage, right? And that's why regulating your daughter through the touch, through the safety, is actually creating anti fragility, right? So when you have a daughter who is very sensitive, you have to be very stable, right? You have to allow her to climb the tree, but be right there to catch her. The boy, climb the tree, let him fall. That's what's going to help him. But the girl, autonomy and attunement. Autonomy and attunement. So the 3 A's: autonomy, you must allow them to make their choices. They feel powerful in what they eat at age 4. Cereal with almond milk or soy milk. We go left, we go right. Teach them to become autonomous, to use their voice. Number 2, high attunement. You're always emotionally attuned. You know what? You want to stop now? We can continue later. I can see that this is making you uncomfortable. Trust your body, right? My daughter, when she was young, would always ask me, what should I eat? What should I eat? What should I eat? And I used to be like, ask your body, ask your body, ask your body. The other day, she had bought tickets for an event. They were all going on a boat. And she's like, I'm really tired. I don't want to go. I can sell my ticket. The popular girl messaging in the mother was like, oh, you should go be with the popular girl. Don't leave, don't get out of the boat. I was having FOMO, right? But I gave the conscious response, which is follow your body, follow your body, right? You're teaching your daughter to follow her own body, something that we never learned, we were never told. You own your body, make the right decisions. You know what you need to do. You know. And you're attuning your daughter constantly into her own knowing. And the third A is authenticity. So authenticity looks like this. Damn, that's really, really complex. Wow. I don't even know how you're going through this. I don't even know what to say. Wow, that's really, really complex. That sounds like a lot. Why is that authentic? Because you actually don't know anything about what's happening in her life. The inauthentic part of us, which is the fixer, the savior, the rescuer, and the controller, says things like this. I make this mistake all the time. Oh, sounds like, Rebecca got really upset when Samantha said this, and sounds like Becky wants her mother to give her more compliments, and sounds like you were really upsetting everybody because you were late, and I must give an analysis. And that is actually inauthentic. So to be truly authentic is to be present and to allow the person before you, your husband, your mother-in-law, your child, to allow the person before you to express themselves without a solution, without an opinion, without rescue, to hold the space for them to be uncomfortable. When you allow your daughter to be uncomfortable, you actually create anti fragility. If you're constantly rescuing your daughter, or say you rescue her but you don't give her the lesson, you actually teach her that she's only okay in a bubble, right? So when your daughter complains, you have sensitivity, you're like, oh, she's very sensitive, you understand, but you also tell her she can handle it, she can deal with it. We will be there together. I'll be there with you. You're constantly letting her know she is capable, she is resilient. So the thing about girls is that girls hurt hard. Okay, now what do I mean by this? When I say that girls really hurt hard and hurt back hard, as I said, we're so sensitive. So everything pierces us, everything upsets us, everything is 10 times more than in the boy. Okay, the boy is not even registering this. And because we get hurt, we then internalize it. Okay, we've learned to internalize it, and we are internalizers. Because our social radar is so high, we want others to like us, so we would rather hurt ourselves than hurt others. Okay, so now we hurt ourselves years and years or months and days, and then when the iron strikes, we will explode. And that's why your male partner is like, I'm sorry, I forgot the milk, and you're bringing up shit from like 2 weeks ago and 17 days ago, because we don't react like men. Men will react fast, swift. That's their wiring. They're quick to gauge a threat. They're quick to assess risk, right? I don't know about the men in your life, but every man in my life wants to sit with his face facing the exit and the doors. And I'm like, what are you expecting is going to happen? They're like, I don't know, just in case. The men in my life that I've had don't like to sit with their backs to the door. I'm like, oh my goodness, are you ready for war? What are you going to do? So they're ready. This is how they're primed, okay? Especially if you're with an alpha male. They're like, oh, they have to protect. They're like in the jungle, okay? Girls, we go inside. We take a long time to process. It'll take us a long time. That's why a predator can get us easy, because we're so attuned to being nice and being liked that it takes us a long time to register that we are in danger. So if any of you have been with a narcissist, if any of you have been abused, never blame yourself, because we take years to process shit, because we first go inside. So when it goes inside, it gets mixed up. The person who bothered us doesn't get the reaction. The 10th person down the line will get the reaction after we have harmed ourselves. All we know is that we feel shitty. We don't know why. Why do you think we eat so much? Why do you think we drink? Why do you think we cry so much? Because in the moment, we are powerless to take care of the reaction. We are powerless to take care of the perpetration. Because our brains are not wired to react immediately, we react emotionally, we'll cry, but we don't know how to combat ourselves. We don't know how to protect ourselves, and we're weaker physically. We suppress that. It takes a long time for us to process. I used to blame myself for a long time, going, why didn't I say that? in the moment. How many of you have felt that? How many of you have felt like, damn, when that asshole said that, I should have said this. And the quip, the clever comeback comes to you like freaking 15 days later, right? And you're like, damn it, why did I just cry? Why did I say this? It's because your brain is not wired to react to the other person. It is actually wired to do exactly what you did, which is to suppress, to think of the social context, to think of, am I being liked? It's very hard. It's very hard. And that's where extra feminine females need to enter their masculinity more and practice. And practice. Do you know how many times in an audience people have said mean things about me and I'm like, I've not known what to say. But now, because it's happened so many times, I'm a pro. I'm a pro. Let somebody say something mean to me. I enter my masculine energy. I go, Shefali, your sweet, feminine, nice, kind, lovely, obedient, sweetheart self, put her in the back seat. And I enter my masculine energy. And that's why doing this work and healing is so important for us women, because we can model that for our daughters. You know, we need to learn to stand up for ourselves and be more in our masculine energy, but we need to have compassion for ourselves when we are not. Okay? We take everything personally. So it is not personal needs to be a mantra for life. Men are good at not taking things personally. And the last thing I will leave you with, and this is with your girlfriends, this is with your daughters, we women will make others feel like how we feel. And that's why actually the male female dynamic in a traditional nuclear family gets fucked up. Let me explain. We feel helpless. We don't express ourselves directly. We suppress it. We end up eating too much, crying, anxious. We don't know what's going on with us because we don't use left brain. We are in just feeling. The men see us and they're like, what is going on? What is going on? What is going on? That makes them hyper helpless. When a man becomes helpless, he doesn't enter his heart and his feelings. And are you kidding me? He's like, who do I need to kill? Right? And he'll kill you if you are harming yourself. Like he'll go against you. He just wants to fix it, clean it, solve it, skin the deer, put it on the fire. Let's eat. Let's go to bed. That's why it clashes so much. So that's why men need to enter more their heart, but females need to enter more their head, more logical. The most powerful female is the one who is in her heart, leads with her heart, but boy, when she needs to get out her fantastically astute analytical brain, she's right there. She can be the Kali goddess that can spear through delusion, hatred, racism. She can be the activist, but she's also very much leading from the heart principles, right? And all of you have that. All of you have the heart principle. See, it's harder to get the heart principle, I think, than it is to get than to ask men to enter their heart. It's harder, I think, for men to enter their heart than for us to develop the masculine. That's why in today's world, you're seeing a lot of women in their masculine. We can do it. Now we've gone a little bit too much. We're like too masculine, but it's okay. We'll come back to center. We're figuring it out. But a man has a hard time sitting in those feelings because feelings are anti-doing. Anti-doing means his survival strategies are in the gutter, right? He needs to be on guard. Maybe this will let you have more compassion for the men in your life. Okay, so let's just quickly go through some more strategies and interventions. Let's go to practical interventions by age. Just real quickly, I've already talked about it, but just, and again, this is just an introductory course. If you want more, if you like this kind of teaching, I do this a lot in my community. You can join my Conscious Circle community. This one, and it's already been 2 hours, is just an introduction. Okay, so let's talk about practical strategies. Let's talk about ages 0 to 5. Very important with boys and girls. Name the emotions. Name the emotions. Talk about the emotions. Label the emotions. When you name it, you tame it. And foster, even a young child at 2 and 3, foster autonomy and consent. Can I hug you right now? Can I tuck you into bed? Can I change a diaper? Do we want to eat? What do we want to eat? Do we want to eat eggs or bread? We give them the choices, but we make them practice. It's all just a practice of knowing that they have a voice. Ages 6 to 10. Now it's more unstructured play. Let them make mistakes. 6 to 10 is so vital because it is when the identity is developing. And if we fuck up 6 to 10, if we're not present, if we're not attuned, if we're not aligned, if we're not really giving autonomy, then we set them up for a shaky adolescence. Okay, now don't worry if you've already done this, it's okay. Ages 11 to 14. Let's go to the next one, next ages. 11 to 14. Here, the child's autonomy and sense of confidence is going down. Now, if you know this, you're ready. You're like, oh, I need to be extra validating, extra giving, extra present with my 11-year-old, with my 12-year-old. When she's going psycho-ballistic nutso on me, and loco, I need to understand. She is in her teen surge. She's in her adolescent surge. She can't help it. And I need to understand that she's going to have a big dip in her self-confidence. Then, ages 15 to 18, we begin to recruit her. We begin to invite leadership, right? Tell me what I should wear tonight. You choose my outfit. You choose what we're having for dinner. You choose where we're going for vacation. You help me with the plan. Let her create the itinerary. Now, you may think, okay, that means I'm a weak mom, I'm a weak parent. No, you're not. You're handing her the baton to practice how to be in a toxic patriarchy. If she doesn't practice with you, how is she going to learn? So, ages 15 to 18, you do give boundaries, but you also allow for a lot of mistakes. Let her take your car. Let her drive without permission. Let her sneak out of the house. Let her break a few rules. Let her. And then through connection, you can give her the bonding and the self-confidence to understand her mistakes. Between 11 and 18, I'm just telling you, our children, our girls especially, are hyper fragile to criticism. They are going to make mistakes, but we need to understand them. They're going to sneak out with the boy. They're going to try to vape. They're going to look at porn. They're going to spend too much. And you need to go, okay, I trust you. I trust you. You're learning. Let's learn together. Mommy trusts you. First thing you need to know is mom trusts you. So help me trust your friends better. Help me trust your friends' parents better. I trust you. I don't know whether I trust that boy you're with. Help me trust him better. Call me at 11 o'clock. Help me. Right? This is how you talk as a sister with that energy. I'm not saying you're her sister, but it's that energy where she feels that my mom knows I am a goddess. My mom knows I'm kick-ass, right? So when my daughter, for example, in high school, she used to want to have all her friends over, which is a good sign. And she wanted to allow them to have alcohol, okay, in my house. And she was still underage. But you know, in high school, they all want to have alcohol. So I'm like, oh, holy shit, what should I do? Right? I want her to feel free. I want her to come to my house, but I don't want to be caught by the police. So I used to tell her, listen, I'm going to go to sleep. I'm going to trust you. You have to be me and you. You handle your friends. You handle their problems. If they are drunk and they go in their own car, it's on you. If the police ask, I'm going to say I didn't know anything. So it's on you. And I can only tell you that she took the responsibility like to even worse than a parent. She was like a drill sergeant. Everybody, stop talking so loudly. Put the music off. She took it so seriously. So you see, it's an oxymoron because we don't want to give too much power because they make so many mistakes. But on the other hand, when they're empowered to be leaders, girls love that. They love to be in charge, right? You and I know how much we love to be in charge. We are bosses. So if you allow your girl to be a boss, she will do it. But the mother has to instigate it, or the father, but you know, we mothers need to give that. Okay, so let's just talk about age 18 over. So when your kid is 18 over, how many of you have kids over 18? So my daughter's 22. Man, it is adult to adult. And it's really hard because they're very, very confused. They want to be adults, but then they want to be children. Yeah. So my daughter does it both ways. I'm not a child. I'm not a baby. Stop treating me like a baby. And then she's be like, I'm your daughter. You're my mother. You're my mother. You should understand. Huh? So they are confused. They think they're all that, but they're not yet. So we need to allow, right? We need to allow. But age 18 over, and definitely after 22, you can start kicking them out of the nest, okay? They are capable. They must be autonomous. Oh, I don't want to live in a dirty apartment. There's so many rats. Yes, it's okay. You can handle it. Okay? In our culture, we tend to overcoddle. So I say till 22. It was unheard of in tribal cultures to have your child live with you till 22 without any responsibilities. But in our culture, especially in the West, or maybe the whole world, we allow our children to have no responsibilities 22, 23, 24. They can live with us, they can eat under our roof, and just live or study. No, start gently tightening the reins and pushing them out. Okay, you tightening the reins of your purse, tightening the reins of your autonomy, and push them out into the world. Okay, so you need to let your children go. You need to let them make mistakes. You need to let them fall in love. You need to let them even get pregnant. Whatever they do, it's their life. And this is where we go wrong as parents, where we co-opt our children's lives to protect them, but we don't realize that we are actually cutting and clipping their wings. What if they don't have a job yet? They have to bloody well get a job yet. Okay, sweep the floors, volunteer at a hospital. If they don't, I'm sorry, I'm just getting comfortable. If they don't have a job yet, they have to get a volunteer job. If they don't have a volunteer job yet, they have to sweep your own floors, right? They have to do something, you know. If you have a lot of money and they want to travel, they have to learn a language. They have to learn a skill. They have to take a course. They have to, it's over. The free ride by 22 needs to start getting over. The sooner you help them to move on, the more empowered they will be, right? So the ages of 22 to 30 are very important for practice, for role playing an adult. By the age of 30, you want your child to be completely cut off from your finances, completely cut off from your dependency. They can be connected, interdependent, but not dependent. So you are now starting to move them into that direction. If they have mental health issues, someone writes, then it's going to be hard. Of course, it's going to be hard. But even then, sometimes the mental health issues are better served out of your environment. You see, our environment has a limit. Okay, when you stay with the same people, you stagnate. Our children need contrast. They need to leave. Even if you're the best parent, even if they need you, no, they won't be able to grow past a point with you. They have to go out into the world, other adults, other influences. You have to be willing to let it go, let them go. And men are good at this. Men could do it at 14. We mothers are overprotective and we're becoming more because we're fragile. It's okay. 22, 23. I mean, by 25, the child needs to be gone because they will not grow. There's a ceiling with us, and it is not healthy. They must live alone. And you'll think, but it's not practical, or the rent, the savings are less important than the value of their growth. So even if you're going to spend the money and they're not going to save it, and it's so much more economically convenient to keep them in your basement, they are not growing. And then they'll never grow. So they'll never save. So you have to cut the cord, take a risk, and let them go for a year. But in that year, they will grow so much that they will eventually find their way in a way that you could never have even imagined. So just understand, from 10 to 25, you as a parent need to be the beacon, staying steady, naming the feeling, offering choices. So I've listed a lot of things here. I'm going to go through each one really fast as interventions. They may seem simple, but when you apply these interventions consciously, everything changes. So let's start with the first one. What does it mean to stay steady? These are your conscious parenting toolkits. So, a dysregulated parent is a dysregulated daughter. Your nervous system is her cue. So, slow your breath down, soften your tone, relax your shoulders. When she's spiraling, don't join the chaos. Ground yourself. Say less, breathe more, soften your eyes. A calm adult gives her permission to come back to center. I cannot tell you how many times I would enter my daughter's room unsteady, with anger, with reactivity, with passion, with energy, and the dynamic always created disconnection. But when I enter calm, when I enter slowly, you see, indirectly, girls don't do well with direct energy. They do well with soft energy. The more you practice this, the more you will be connected to your daughter. Okay, let's go to the next one. Name it, then pause. So you can immediately name it, but then you reconnect through a space. This is something that is so hard for us fixers, so hard for us savior parents. Because when we see a problem, we also want to fix it because we are trying to fix our own emotional issue. You see, when we rush in to fix an emotional problem, like men don't like to feel helpless, but a fixer parent who is not used to having her own emotions honored, she's not comfortable with her own feelings either. So when we see a feeling that we are not comfortable with, we want to fix it. So I see this feels huge right now. Tell me more. Done. Done. You may think you need to fix that feeling. What you don't understand is that the only way that feeling gets fixed is through its own process. And process requires space. So the minute you name it, oh, of course you're feeling really misunderstood. You feel like I invalidated you. You're feeling like mommy doesn't understand you. You're really angry because you feel like mommy treated you like a child in front of grandma. You're feeling really upset because mommy took away your toy. That's all you need to do is to name it. And then the feelings will work themselves through the body and the storm will pass. And then you come back. So let's look at the next tool. And these are conscious parenting tools, whether you have a son or daughter, but definitely more so a daughter. So small choices is the key to not overwhelming her, but allowing for autonomy. Like, would music or a shower help now? Do you want water? Would you like some water or should I get you some juice? Should we put on some music or do you just want to be quiet? Even just this, even a little bit of choice makes her, yeah, okay, yeah, I want water. She's now coming back into her regulation. You know this. When your husband does it right and he says, "Oh, can I just touch your shoulders?" You're like, "Yeah, yeah." You're coming back into regulation. You see? That touch, that offering. I'm here. I'm connected. Do you want some? Can I give you help? It's a little bit of a concrete ladder to come out of the swamp of your emotional turmoil. Okay? Just a little bit. So small choices, not big ones. Like, what do you think Rebecca should have done differently so that you don't feel so bad today? No. What do you think mom should have done differently? No, 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 that's too much thinking. Just a little choice, okay? Okay, next two. Okay, so this is for your hormones or for your daughter who's going through her hormonal cycle. My mother used to do this with me. You track the cycle together, right? So you tell her, "Oh, your period is going to come. Day 26, really rocky. You're feeling really emotional. That's because your hormones are acting out like this." So you teach her to expect and prepare. I don't know about you, but I used to track my cycle and I knew, oh, I need to eat pasta. Oh, I need to go call the pizzeria. I knew. And I used to tell my partner, watch out. I was not afraid to say that my periods make me unstable. And it's not like they made you unstable in a crazy sort of way, but they made you unstable in an unpredictable sort of way. Meaning, I would remember something from the anniversary 10 years ago that he forgot to give me a gift, or I would bring up shit from my past. And I wasn't afraid to say, I am going to be very emotional. See, it says here, show her the patterns. Showing a pattern doesn't make you weak, it makes you wise, right? So do this. Same with menopause. We're doing it now with menopause. We're learning to understand how we react, and it's so empowering. This is so empowering for our daughters. Okay, next toolkit. And then we're going to answer some questions. Protect the pillars. So the pillars are food, sleep, movement, and rest, right? What are the four things we need in life? They're called the pillars. You have to protect it. So at some point, if your daughter is not being, protective of her own nervous system, you need to step in and say, nope, sorry. I have to turn the lights off. I have to take your phone away. You have to eat. I'm sorry, we have to go to the doctor if you're not eating. It's been 2 days you haven't eaten, right? We have to move. So you can't do it in a way that criticizes her, but you can do it in a way that protects her, right? But older they get, the harder it gets to do this. So try to do this when they're young so they learn this. Sorry, after 10 o'clock, I have to put off the lights. I have to protect your sleep. This is what I have to do as a mother. You just have to do it. Okay, the next toolkit. Yes, there's lots of apps for your cycle. Teach her how to reset, right? Build a reset library, right? So you can practice a skill every week. This week, we're going to practice box breathing, which is just basically hold the breath in and let it out. Like you create a box. In breath, hold, out breath, hold. 5 sense grounding. Your feet on the floor. What are you looking at? What are you touching? Cold water splash. Practice a skill every week. Best to do when they're young. Now, if you've missed the boat, wait for your grandchildren, okay? But you can do it. You can practice this. And she can be like, what are you doing? You can go, I'm practicing my breathing. I'm practicing to wash myself because I'm feeling overwhelmed right now. And every time I'm overwhelmed, I wash myself. You could just do it around her. When you come back from a long day, oh, mom is really dysregulated. Say she's 15 and doesn't want to do this with you because it's not cool. You do it. Mom is really dysregulated. I need to calm my nervous system. Let me drink some water. Let me splash some water. Begin to talk like this, right? So then she learns how to reset. It is so good. Mera says, I do this with my 2-year-old and she starts breathing out of the blue. And Stacy says, even when they roll their eyes, they are listening and observing and will use it when they need it. I love it. I love that. Okay, validate and hold the line. So what that means is you must validate how she feels, but she cannot destroy the furniture. She cannot be mean to you. So you say, I understand you're upset with mom, but you cannot call me a bitch. Or I understand you're upset with me, but you cannot ruin the furniture, right? You have to keep validating, but also hold the line. And if they destroy the furniture, because I've seen teenagers do that. My daughter once like almost broke the door because she didn't realize she slammed it so hard. I told her, I said, now it's going to stay like that. Either you pay for it or it just stays like that. So her door is not broken. It's still broken. And I just didn't fix it. So we have to tell them that all feelings are allowed in the world, but there are limits to how you express it. The next one. Okay. Let's look at these. Red flags. What is a red flag? It's anything that's excessive, anything that's extended, anything that's isolating. So excessive means high volume. Extended means long term. Isolating means no contact with the outside world. Put these three things together and you have a red flag situation. Excessive, extended, isolating. You have a red flag situation. Even if it's excessive and isolating, but only 2 days, it's getting to a red flag. Pay attention. Your child is growing up in a different world than you. Your girl is growing up in a different world than you. The pressures on your girl are through the roof. They are nothing like what you know. So just to recap, the final reflections, the most important thing you can do for your daughter is to nurture her inner voice. Remember, your girl is listening to your tone, to your posture, to your facial expression. She's constantly getting feedback through your connection. Remember, she's oxytocin sensitive. When you are not connected, she feels abandoned. So you as a mother and a father need to be bonded, need to be connected, need to be touching, need to be communicating. The other day, my daughter was upset with me, but we said goodnight and we moved on. And she seemed okay. I love you. I love you. We seemed okay. But the next day, I went back to her. I said, I'm bringing it back because I know I hurt you. Can you tell me more? And she said, I feel horrible when you do this, and I feel da 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 da. She was texting me. I said, good. I said, I'm inviting you for a conversation. Anytime you want, I'm here. Mom didn't leave it. I always say, I don't leave it. I'm always bringing it back. So this is called leaning in. Your children, especially your girls, and we are like this as women. We don't like it when our men don't follow up. We're like, hello, hello. I was crying yesterday, and today you're not even going to follow up. You're not even going to follow up with me because men can't do this. You see, they can't lean in. They can let go, but they can't lean in. So we have to do both. We have to do both for our girls. We have to lean in and let go. So we have to trust her, but we have to be right there with her, right? We have to say, I trust you, I trust you. We have to be there right with her and let her go on her way. So let her defy and challenge you. See, when your daughter talks back at you, you're thinking, oh my God, she's so rude. She's so disrespectful. That is her way of finding her voice. That is how she's experimenting with the world. Let her defy you. You are strong enough to take it. This was never given to you, so give it to your daughter. Trust her to lead. Trust her to know herself. Trust her to create boundaries. This is what she needs from you. So the final reflection is you cannot raise a free daughter from your own cage. I hope this workshop has been your invitation to awaken, to reclaim your voice, to interrupt the cycle, to model wholeness, not perfection, to raise a girl who knows that she is already enough. When you free yourself, you will free her. And when she is free, she will march into her destiny without any concern. She will change the world. A free daughter from a free mother, she is the one who will change the world. So now I'm going to take some questions. If the rest of you want to leave, you can leave, but I'm happy to answer a few questions. Okay, so Ainsley has a question about her 13-year-old ADHD. Is it a girl that you have a question about? Okay, so why don't you come on, Ainsley, and I'm going to try to help you answer your question. There you are. Hi, Ainsley.
Hi.
We're just doing Q&A, everyone. If you want to leave, you can leave. Thank you for attending the workshop, and I hope I see you in the community. But I'm going to hang around more and answer some questions. This is what I do in the community as well. Hi, Ainsley. Tell us what you're...
So this has just been wonderful, holding back a lot of emotions. It's been great. She's 13, she's wonderful. And she was diagnosed 8 or 9 years old. And I went because I didn't want her self-esteem to suffer because I didn't know why she was struggling. And so now I'm noticing that she's taking all of my body image issues. And I was in the modeling world and it was a terrible place for my self-esteem. And I'm watching her and she's a beautiful, confident girl. And yet inside, I can see that she's just struggling. And the emotions that she deals with are so unregulated with ADHD, and she's on medication. But I just want to help her. And she's now in social media. And I just know that this is going to be a dangerous place for her. And I don't know how to help her with her ADHD to manage her emotions and connect with her because she doesn't want to be touched when she's having a freak out.
Right. So thank you for your vulnerability. It's so hard when you see your unresolved issues show up because they're not yet resolved, so they're triggering you. let me ask you, how much of your history in the modeling world as a young woman have you been able to share with her?
I've started sharing a little bit. She says she wants to be a model, and I keep telling her she's not ready because she has to be able to handle the criticism, the cruel criticism that comes at you. And so I've started talking to her about it a little bit. I just keep telling her she's too young. If it's something she wants to do later when she has more maturity in her emotions, maybe then. But I haven't shared a whole lot about it.
Yeah, so as you can hear, she has a dream, right? For her, it's like, I want to be president. I want to be a model. To you, it's like alarm bells, right? Like, oh my God, no, 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 no. To her, everyone's a model now. Everyone's making a lot of money. She's not seeing it from your perspective. But your messaging to her is, oh, you're too young. Oh, you're not right now. So what you're communicating to her is, my mom is not open to even talking about it. She's telling me I'm not mature, so she's putting me down. But she's not telling me much about what it really is, except that I'm stupid or foolish or immature to have this dream. See, to you, it's literally what trauma you went through. For
Hmm.
her, it's a dream. When you had a dream as a child, what did you want for your parents to do? Support it or talk about it or at least like allow it to exist? But you're shutting it down so much because you're so traumatized by those words.
Hmm.
So this is how you're inadvertently passing it down. Now, for example, if she said, I dream of being a pilot, do you have any trauma around being a pilot or in a plane? Right.
Mm.
You will be like, oh, let's talk about it. You can't do it now, but let's talk about it. Obviously, she's not going to do it now, but you would open it up, right? Easy breezy, open. If you had a trauma being a pilot, you were molested in the cockpit, your plane almost crashed, you would have the same that you're having now. What you're doing is you're killing the dream, but killing her spirit that dreams with it.
Mm.
So, what I would encourage you to do is go, wow, let's talk about it. Not in this serious way, though. You have such a heavy energy around it that she's not going to talk to you about it. So, the way to tell her is that, I know I have a heavy energy around modeling. I know every time you've come to me, I've poo pooed it or put it down. Can I tell you why? Because it terrifies me. And because it terrifies me, I'm telling you that you can't handle it. You actually could handle it quite well, but can I just tell you what happened with me? And now you tell her I'm bloody terrified. So I've been so cold to you. I've been telling you that you're too young and I haven't even allowed you to talk about it. And this is why. Now, if you do that, because she's 13, she's going to get it. And now, even if she chooses to do it or not, you have helped her more than you can ever imagine. She's going to do whatever she wants to do. So you have a choice to either be authentic, autonomy, attunement. Authentic, autonomy, attunement. You were not attuning. You told her she's too young, so no autonomy, cannot even talk about it, and no authenticity. So these three things is what you're going to practice. I want to talk about it. Let's talk about it a lot. You're allowed to talk about any dream. Who
Thank you.
knows? Maybe once she talks about it, she realizes she wants to be a fashion designer. Once she talks about it, she realizes she really is going to be amazing and she can handle it. Because you are still traumatized by your experience, you are actually suppressing her and making the need bigger. The need is not going away, it's becoming bigger. That's what happens
Thank
to
you.
us women, right? When we don't talk about things, then we explode. So
It's
talk
true.
about it. And you can tell her, maybe at 16, we can go get some photographs for you if that's what you still want. Why can't I do it now? Okay, 13 is a bit young, but if you want, we can talk to a coach and you can come talk to a professional, but you're opening it up. You're not afraid of her dream.
Hmm.
Right now, you're like, no, you're too young. She's actually exact age to want to be a model. Like at 6 years old, every kid wants to be a teacher. 13, every kid wants to be a model. And her mom was a model.
Mm.
So we cannot suppress it, okay? We have to bring it out of the closet.
Thank you. Thank you. It's how we project our own fears, isn't it?
Oh my God. And we do it so unknowingly. And we think we're being protected, but we're actually being inhibiting. I always say the greatest protection is exposure.
Mm.
The verbal exposure in books, talk about it to death that she gets totally bored of it. You know, the greatest protection is exposure in a weird way, right? So if your 16-year-old comes home and says, I want to marry the 27-year-old alcoholic, and you're like, no, you won't, she will run away with him. She will find a way. However, if you say, go ahead, bring him home, she will be exposed to him. Within 6 months, she'll be like, oh my God, he's a loser, right? Exposure
That's
is the best.
amazing advice.
In case she wants to marry the 27-year-old, in case that's your next
Well, when they have bad friends, we want to protect them from bad influence, and I
plan.
think it's the same thing.
That they'll sneak around and hide. Now, and having said that, if it's somebody who's harming them, we have to intervene and go, okay, we need to go to a therapist because I'm losing my shit. I can't do this. I can't watch him abuse you. But you're being authentic, you know? Thank
Thank
you,
you.
Alex. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you. Thank you so
Thank you.
much.
Okay, so many of you have been writing that your daughters get angry a lot. How many of you have a problem with their anger? So again, anger is part hormonal. It's part biological. You have to learn to be the container. Better your child express anger than cut. Better your child express anger than diet. And better your child express anger than carry an AK-47 and blow up a school. The child who is communicating anger will not act out anger because that is the anger. How great that our kids can be angry. Boys can't be angry. They've been told to not be angry. So they are very angry, but in other ways, through their video games, through their violence, through their abuse, through their alcoholism, through their drug addictions, through their fast racing cars. Girls who are not allowed to be angry are going to cut or starve themselves. So this is a good thing. This is a really good thing. Okay, I'm going to take one last question. Suad, come on in. She's like, please read my message. Okay, Suad, come on in. And the rest of you, if you have questions, come to the community because we answer all your questions in the community. And it comes to $16 a month, $80 for 6 months. It's quite affordable. And you get all this learning. Arik, you can come on in. Okay, last one. Hi,
Hi.
Arik. Hello.
Sorry, it's really late in the night here, but I'm so grateful for your time. You're amazing.
Where are you?
I'm in Dubai.
Oh, I'm sorry. Well, tell me quickly.
Right. So I was just saying with my daughter, she's 15 now. She's at this beautiful age. I was watching what you and your daughter had. That was such a wonderful, such a powerful video. I was crying through it all because, she was being so honest and and my daughter's exactly like that. She's so vulnerable, and she's so herself. Like ever since she was born, she's always been that person that can tell you exactly what she wants and when she wants it. But then now she's just had a brother come in, and I'm still in the postpartum, and I just lost my brother as well. So I'm grieving as well. And, and I lost him so young. He was 42. So she's got her own sort of grief as well because he was her uncle for 23 years. And she's navigating all of this. But the way she does it is that she tries to get really nasty, and she'll try and do it when her dad's around. So I think there is that sense of getting more validation from him. And she's very aware that every time she makes a joke on me, it makes him laugh. And it drives me nuts because I was in boarding school, and I remember there was a couple of people that would just kind of pick on me, and it just triggers that. So, Shafali, everything you do. I've read all the books and I've got all the workshops, but I really feel like this particular stage, because I'm already dealing with the baby, and it's 15 years later that I've become a mom, and then just her picking on me, at the dinner table, like, oh, who invited you here? And I'm like, I can be here because it's my home as well, right? And then I'll just have those moments where I'm like, why do they just have to do it together? Because with him, of course, there's all of that stuff that he doesn't see me anymore, and he's been working in a different city since I delivered. But then with her, it just feels, because she's your daughter, right? And you've been there for her 15 years, and I'm a journalist, so I always kind of made all of these sacrifices just to be there, but just for her not to see everything, and she picks on, the things that I've t told her in confidence, like it would be something about my weight loss or something that's really personal to me, and she'll bring it up sort of in a space where I don't need it to be told. And I know she's also obviously dealing with the fact that this baby's got all of the attention, but I really just wish there was a way for us to connect again. Thank you.
Thank you. Wow. Yeah, you are going through a lot. And I think that she's trying to tell you that she's pissed off at you. And she's doing it in the way that we women do, passive aggressive bitchiness. She's a master. She's a 15-year-old girl. This is what they do. So I think you put yourself on mute. Hold on.
Yeah, I hear you because she's just really asserting herself that way. Absolutely. Yes.
Yeah, so if you could take it that she is only angry,
Right.
okay, because she's actually desperate for me and she feels abandoned by me. Imagine that. But because of your issues around your weight, plus you're in postpartum, plus your husband's away, plus you have issues from boarding school, plus your brother has died, you are a mess, right? You're an emotional mess.
Yeah.
You're just like vulnerable, you're just crying. Everything is going to hurt you. We just talked about it. Everything
Yes.
is hurtful. You're so sensitive. You're very fragile. You need to be bubble wrapped right now. And she feels like she's a dagger coming at you? So
Yeah.
I understand you need so much care. You're with a 15-year-old total, I totally get it. She's not the person to be around. And you're looking for her to be your mother right now, and she can't. She's surviving middle school. She's entering high school. She's
Oh
a
my God. Yeah.
bitchy girl trying to survive. Her mother has disappeared. So she's expressing herself the way these girls express, which is passive aggressive, underhanded, mean ass, really bitchy comments. And your husband, silly, he's a goofball. He's just an idiot. It's not an idiot, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, but that's how men are. They're
And
not
he's like
attuned to kind
goofy.
of what.
Yeah, he's totally
Yeah.
goofy. And he's just like, oh, good joke. He's not thinking that this is destroying you.
Yeah, and this is really, and I love what you said to me. I remember on one of our one-on-ones that I had a call with you. You said, Redeemer, whatever age she is, right now is your time to sort of back off. You're not going to be able to helicopter her. She is going to, and even back then, I remember telling you, no, I wish I could just control this one thing because she's always got a head of her own. And you said that is the worst thing to do. And I had so much progress ever since I did those one-on-ones with you because I literally saw that I had to step back, because I was overparenting as a whatever 12-year-old when I started to do the one-on-ones with you. But now it is that time to sort of protect myself more than anything else. And when I find that self-healing or whatever you said, in your case, I think you started this workshop with something really nice, which was self-love and self-acceptance and self-celebration. I think that would make such a difference, right? To just be full and then to see her from that place,
Right.
right?
So get the coaching. I have come to my
Yes.
community. I have coaches in my community. You don't have to come to me. I charge much more. They charge reasonable. You need that support, that bubble wrap every week so that you can be protected from her. And then you can give her what she needs, which is you must be super pissed that your mom has disappeared, the mom you knew. You must be super pissed that I'm gloomy and upset all the time. You must be super pissed that I'm tired. You have to address the anger. It is anger.
Yes. Yes.
And no one is addressing it. You're just getting hurt.
And that's just making it worse because you're distancing yourself to work
Correct.
on something
Correct.
that, it's just kind of, yeah, it's a vicious
You are
circle.
not you are not able to be there for her because you're running on empty.
Right. I was actually really curious because I got that email about the circle today, but I'm gonna sign right up. And obviously the one-on-ones, I could do it with the coaches, see how that works. but really, really fantastic. And particularly at a world in a world like this, because I write for a newspaper, we're all constantly hearing about women. And a lot of them, they just don't know, Shifal, doctor, like they don't know that they need to be told that they're perfect as they are. Like I just see her sit in bed next to me and Liz is like, this is so bad and that is so bad. And should I eat that extra bowl? Should I not do it? Should I eat? Should I go study for the GCSEs? I just want to be perfect. And I'm like, that's exhausting. And now we see it. But we were that person. We were so annoying with our parents, short temper, just off the charts. And my husband says to me, you were that girl. And I saw you when you were in your teens. You were just, insufferable. But now we just look at her and we go, why is she so like enraged the whole time? And I'm so glad I met you today. And you said this is so normal at 15. Because I was just thinking, what did I do wrong? Like everything just makes her explode. So thank you so much. I'm going to pray for you the whole time. You're amazing. We love you. Thank you.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you for being here. So I hope that I'm going to wind down now and wrap up, but I hope you have a different sensitivity about girls and yourself. You understand yourself better. You understand the faults of your men in your life. We need each other. We women get each other. We need to be our sisters, our best allies. This is why I created the community. Come join my community. Come for Evolve. I'm having retreats all over the world. Always look at my website. I focus on women. I focus on your awakening, not because I'm anti men, but because I'm a woman and I get you. So I hope you can break the cycle with your daughters by first learning to free yourself of the cage of self loathing, self shame, self hating. You need to get out of that cage. So, like with Reek, if she gets out of the cage and heals herself, she'll only have compassion for her daughter because her daughter is only being mean because that's how she feels inside, right? We only cut the other when we feel cut inside. I said in one of the slides, women make others feel how we feel inside. We women make others feel how we feel inside. So she's making you feel helpless because she feels helpless. She's making you feel bad because she feels bad. This is how we women work. So I hope this was enlightening and inspiring. If you have friends with daughters, bring them into the community. They can buy this workshop, they can get this workshop for free. And thank you all so much. Thank you for being my mother and my sister, nursing me through my terrible cough. But I so appreciate you, and I will see you on my next workshop. See you in the community. Bye, everyone. Thank you so much.